Hi, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Ray.
And you're listening to
This Midlife Hustle.
Today's topic is about hustle culture and what does it mean?
What does it mean? Let's see. Let me look. I asked Gemini what hustle culture means, and it says it refers to a pervasive work ethic that emphasizes constant work effort and striving for achievement, often at the expense of personal well-being and work-life balance. It glamorizes long hours, busyness, and sacrificing rest and relaxation in pursuit of professional success. Yeah, I think when defined that way, it does sound like a bad thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Because hustle to me is always there's some type of, how do I say this, achievement goal at the end. When I hustle, I know there is something exciting at the end of that hustle, meaning 4-day week vacation, new pair of shoes, new pair of pants, purse. Like you're working towards something that you want, not just hustle, grind, pay the bills kind of thing.
Right. I get it. It's just a new pair of pants isn't what's on my wish list. So.
It is on mine.
Yeah. So the definition of hustle, I mean, in our generation, it means to work, right? I mean,
yes.
And work ethic is important to me. And I think it's something lost in some folks of this generation. But I don't know. I think the hustle culture, I mean, even in our generation, the work-life balance was important, wasn't it? So yeah, we work hard, but then we play hard. I used to like to say work hard, play harder, you know, but the work is the important part. That's where things get done. Right. I think that's what I'm worried about, the message getting lost, right?
Right. A lot of people don't like to hustle, don't like to work. They seem to think it's a bad thing, and it's really not. And the young generation, the new generation, takes hustle into a whole different meaning.
Yeah, I don't understand how it got down this path, and that's why I thought this might make a good episode. How did the word hustle become a bad thing and get made into this term hustle culture when, work is the backbone of the country,
Right. I think what it is the younger generation saw their parents hustle. And when their parents said hustle, they worked to the bone and never saw their parents. Mm. And I think, in my view, we should change that because the kids have to remember, and the younger generation has to remember that we worked hard for what they have now, but hustle to them, I guess, might be emotionally damaging. Just because, again, when my parents hustled, they were never home. They were hustling. But hustle back then meant food on the table, roof over your head. Where hustle in my mind now is if I want something, I got to hustle. I got to work a little bit harder to get that. It's an excitement, enjoyment, which I think should be not, a bad thing.
Yeah, there's some other. So if we look at the definition of hustle, there's a definition I came across that I liked. It says, to work hard every day with joy and purpose.
Yeah.
I like that definition of hustle.
I like that one better. Yeah, because my hustle in my industry, I love. I love going to work. I love what I do. So for me, working over 15-hour days is enjoyment to me because I know what I'm putting out there and what I'm receiving as well.
Yeah, it can be exhausting, but you also have time. You take time to reset.
Yes, it's
so
very important.
So you may work some 15-hour days, but then you have some downtime.
Yep. Shopping, traveling, just sitting home. What do you think in your mind? Like growing up and getting to this point in our life, what do you think?
No, well, so I get it. I guess the problem is that a lot of people pursue this idea that to get anywhere in life, you need to work harder. And so there's a lot of things that go in my mind. It's the whole principle of work harder, not smarter, or work smarter, not harder. And I think there's a lot of truth to that as well. Because if all you do is put in a lot of effort with no reward, I can see how that can be, depressing. I can see how that leads to burnout. There's this whole concept. There's a lot of articles on how hustle culture is so bad. I was kind of probing. I was using AI to probe some of this to see what the sentiment was out there. I asked, why is hustle culture good? And the key response that comes back is it's important to acknowledge that there are very few inherently good aspects to hustle culture. I think I think the reason for that is it's the way it's being defined as a term, hustle culture. Yeah. Not that to hustle is a bad thing. To work is a good thing. You will not have success without work. Right. But this notion of this branded term of hustle culture, I can see how that can be a bad thing when it's defined this way. Right.
I also feel like the word hustle, if someone's willing to hustle, they also need in a workplace or anything that you do, the respect. And I think sometimes it lacks that. And sometimes that's why a negativity towards the word hustle.
See, this is, I hate to take it down this tangent and sound like I am getting older, but sound like that grumpy old guy. So I wonder if part of this is a generational thing where multiple things, like you see other people succeed, and you want to complain about it. It's easier to complain about it than to put the work in. You don't want to put the work in, but you want to have the success that everyone else has. And so I wonder if part of the reason for this term hustle culture becoming a popular thing to complain about is in that context. Like, we gotta, it's a bad thing to work so hard. You're just going to burn yourself out, get depressed, not be happy in what you do. But what about the people who actually have found, like, take the good advice and do a job that they enjoy doing,
right? And
work hard because it is, helping pay the bills, helping them advance. Like, I don't think anybody would complain that that's a good thing. But I do wonder if the reason why this term hustle culture has become so popular in the media is because there's a lot of people out there who just want to complain about the things that other people have and they're not willing to put in the work themselves.
Right. Now, what about the difference between what's my next hustle versus the hustle and the grind versus the hustle that you have to put money into to get money out, but you don't get the money out and you're very impatient? That's also another thing that I see in the younger generation. They want instant gratification. They put the hustle in there, but it's not long enough to receive the benefits of that hustle. Yeah,
you brought up a couple different things. One of the problems is that the word hustle itself can have multiple different contexts.
Right.
But in the context you were just talking about, let's dive into that for a second. It takes time to succeed. Yeah, and right. Oftentimes people want the instant gratification.
Right.
They want everything now. They see it on social media.
Yeah.
And they think they could just have that right away.
Right. I'm a good gamer. I can do this. You got to put the work in.
You totally can if you put the work in.
Yeah, if you put the work in.
Right. What's that old famous saying about the Indian rain dance is 100% successful because you don't stop until it rains.
Right. Right.
I feel like a lot of pursuits can be that way. If you don't stop until you have profit, it's gonna be painful. You may have some losses along the way. It's gonna be hard work.
Yeah.
It may not be the vision that you ended up with, that you started with.
Right.
But if you keep at it and keep trying and keep pivoting, you can't help but be successful.
Right. There was a quote. I don't know if it was famous or not, but there was a quote. I'm not sure who said it, but it was something along the lines of, you don't succeed until you fail. And failure is not failing. It's a learning experience. Everything in life is a learning experience, I believe.
Yeah. So you kind of have to know what bottom is, or you have to know how,
right.
You have to know how to reshape what success means sometimes.
Right.
There's a saying I hear a lot in social media as well that I like. It's, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you either succeed or you learn something. We've done a lot of learning in our life.
A lot. I feel like you've learned a little bit more than me. I think I've always fallen back on my hustle. I really have not found another hustle that brings me joy than what I do for a living. But I think we have 3 girls, so I think some of our girls as well bounce on different things to see what makes them happy and hustle. But I see that more in you than me.
Yeah, I think I have a different problem there. I'm a serial entrepreneur that's serially unsuccessful. I should have a PhD by now with the amount of learning I've been doing.
But you're learning. Do you take something away from each and every little hustle that you've tried?
Yep, I do.
Okay.
Yep. And it all comes together. Hopefully, eventually, there will be a success.
Hopefully,
at the end of that rainbow, at the end of that tunnel.
If not, I mean, it's a learning experience. I feel like there's no loss, other than some of your adventures for hustling does cost a little bit of money. But again, it brings back to, if you don't get instant gratification, you do all this, hit the pavement running, spend all this money, and then all of a sudden the brakes are screeching. Yeah. And all the equipment is off to the side.
I heard there's this YouTuber, Myron Golden. I don't know if you've heard of him, but
no.
I recently heard him say something like this. work always produces results. It either works for you or it works on you.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah.
As long as you take it that way.
What kind of hustler do you think I am?
What do you mean?
Like, do you see a hustle, like my hustle? Do you see a benefit for it? You
work hard and you enjoy what you do. And that enables us to, pursue things that we want in life. So yeah, it's what you have is going on is a good thing, right? It's you found your thing that you can do forever and you'll always be happy. That's awesome.
Right. I see the hustle in you a lot. Sometimes I wish you would just give it a full year. Sometimes you do give it a full year. And I'm just like, no, it's not you. And I have come across that way, saying, no, I don't see that going. But the thing is, and we are always hustling. We're always looking for the next greatest thing as a partner, or you bring ideas to me or I bring ideas to you. And there's a lot of vetoing, but there's also a lot of trying. But
yeah, and I should say, I think we genuinely appreciate that when we bring things to each other and have a genuine, I don't think that's going to work for you. Right. Yeah. How many people are afraid to do that? Right. To
even try to even.
No. How many people are afraid to tell you, I don't think that's quite right for you.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And it's just an opinion. Right. But there's certain things that whether it's physical capabilities, natural talents, whatever.
Yeah.
You have to think that might be an interesting idea, but it's not for you.
Right. Right.
Is important to have somebody to give you that perspective sometimes.
You also got to, if you have a vision in mind for any type of hustling, and there's fear, I think you should always overcome that fear.
I have to admit, there's a part of this, a part of my brain that the hustle is such a wide word, and every time
it really is.
Hustling can also mean to cheat people. It can mean this type of thing. So
there's a lot of definition for it.
Yeah. So let's be clear that you're talking about work ethic. Basically.
Work ethic. Yeah. We're this is about work ethic. And sometimes there's fear in that, sense of, I want to do this, but something's stopping that person from doing it. The next hustle. I feel like this is my next hustle, a little bit of fear, because I don't like to be in front of the camera that much. So I'm conquering one of my fears of this next journey that me and you are taking. This is completely, something new to me, but not to him. So this was a huge step for me in my hustle game.
I don't think anybody finds it particularly comfortable to be in front of a camera at first.
Yeah.
It takes some time to get used to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is interesting to consider what type of hustles. Then there's side hustles. Let me come back around though to I guess a lot of people would feel this way. So, I wish it was the other way, but most of our life I've been like the breadwinner, the one who can, put the money on the table to allow the rest of the family. And honestly, I would love it if you were instead, and I would, take
this is very true.
Off, right?
He always is trying to find something for me or what I do that will allow him to stay.
So, but if you're locked into that, there's a very real responsibility over the years to my family and now to you, I need to earn to be able to pay the bills. And so I can't take these wild risks that some people could take. Right.
Right.
That's a problem for some people, especially pursuing, how many people pursue a side hustle that they wish was their main hustle. And they just, if they were able to go all in, they might be the next big hit. Or then they may be very profitable in business, whatever the case may be, but they just can't. And I feel like that myself a lot of times. I just can't go all in yet until I can find another way to pay the bills. I'm not independently wealthy,
Right.
I still got to hold down a day job, and do a good job there because that's my reputation that allows me to earn a living.
Yeah.
So that holds a lot of people back, I think. But now we're kind of into the range, into the conversation of side hustles and such. But see, here's the point. If you don't pursue any of that, where are you going to find the time if you have a job and you're trying to be be good to your family, spend time with the family, have some kind of good work-life balance, and you're not particularly happy and you want to branch out and do something else? How are you supposed to, if you don't put any extra work in, if you don't cheat the corners somewhere and find some time to do the things, right? What are you going to do? You're either going to lose sleep, you got to sacrifice family, or you're going to sacrifice your main job. At the end of the day, no solution to that problem other than work.
Yeah.
Grit.
Yeah. You have to be tired, be exhausted.
That's right.
If you really believe in it and you really think there's a niche for it, when the kids are in bed, when everything is done for the day, you have that second, third, fourth, fifth job.
And then you're going to be, if you don't get that balance right, you're going to be exhausted. You're not going to perform well at work. Right.
It's a very tight line.
Yeah, it's a struggle. So I can see though where this notion of hustle culture being a bad thing came from. I just do feel like there's an element to it that is being like demonized in media or like there's a megaphone like on that message that really shouldn't be. It's like they're defining it. They're putting this word alongside hustle, which is hustle culture, and making that a bad thing. And like I said, it's more nuanced than that. Work is not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
Making conscious decisions and balance in your life to pursue the things that you want to pursue and be able to be successful at them by putting in work, that's not a bad thing.
No.
Doing so at all costs and at all costs of your mental health and your relationships and family time, that's a bad thing. Yeah, sure. We think we can all agree that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
But let's not demonize work ethic and work.
Right.
It's just not. There's no magic to it. Nobody's just going to gift it to you.
Yeah. Sometimes talking to the right person with some positive outlook that, can open your eyes, but also be a supporter, I think is really important for someone who wants this, the hustle, that believes in it. What movie did we watch that literally he put work into it and family time and gave it all at work? The hot Cheeto movie.
Oh yeah. I forgot the name of that movie, but yeah, the hot Cheeto movie.
That was a very inspirational, I feel like, movie because he had his family. He lost a lot.
The name of that movie is Flamin' Hot.
Flamin' Hot.
Yeah.
And he worked and worked and worked. And he started off relatively young. And by the time he made it and made people listen to him and never gave up, he was older than us. And finally in his success.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, it's very inspirational. If you have the time to watch the movie, watch it. There's a lot of lessons. This man never gave up. His family backed him. He made it fun for the family as well, getting them involved.
Yep.
So like I said, if you really believe in something and believe in the hustle, have that support system, I think is really important as well.
Yeah, you have a lot of hours behind the chair. For those who don't know, that you're a cosmetologist, hairstylist.
Salon owner, right? Do you ever have people feeling like I feel like there's an intersection here of our podcast definition of midlife hustle. There's a lot of people that go through this period of their life that they feel like they need a change. They've done this grind way too long. Their heart's not in it, and they're ready for a change. Do you deal with people asking you for advice? I do. They ask for advice. I tell them it doesn't hurt to try something. I always tell them to give it at least 6 months. Whatever you do, put all your 110% in for 6 months. I feel like 6 months is one of those you're going to know or not know if it's going to work kind of thing.
Most people don't even. It's kind of brilliant advice because you're probably right. Like it may actually require longer. It may need a year, but if you can't even get it to the 6 month mark. Yeah.
If you're frustrated and it doesn't work at the 6 month mark, check in with yourself and your support group, like every 3, every 6,
Well, it's there's another interesting aspect to this that if you're thinking about that side hustle and you can't imagine putting 6 months of work in, if you think it's going to be an overnight success, if you're having delusions of grandeur and you think that it's going to be like, next week I just do this and then next week I'm going to be a star.
Right. And I see this a lot behind the chair. I have the young clients who are like, man, I just wish, and then I have my midlifers that are like, we're trying this new thing, this new business, and it's going this way. And then you have my retired people who they thought that they wanted to retire and they're hating it. And they're looking for a hustle, a new hustle, like literally the word hustle.
So not even a side hustle. They're just looking to re-enter the workforce.
Yeah. But something on their terms because they're retired. So it's something that they want to do and they want to put.
Walmart greeter is a great job.
No, I've had a client who's tried that.
Really?
And she said no.
What was her previous job?
She was in the tech world.
And she became a Walmart greeter in retirement.
Thought because she wanted to be within people. I hear a lot of people like I have.
Well, you're gonna meet a lot of interesting people. I can say that.
Yeah. But that job is not as easy as you think from the stories that she has told me.
Oh,
so
tell me one.
Yeah, no, I mean she has people who swear at her to go F off.
Really?
Yeah. As she's saying,
and
have
she's
a great
just trying
day.
To say, have a great day.
Yeah.
Like her one job is to smile and say hello, have a great day.
I've joked with her and said maybe Walmart's not it. Go to Bloomingdale's. Yeah, those people are.
They don't have
you. Yeah. But yeah, I've heard it from the youngest young to the oldest. And everyone's always looking for a hustle. That's the thing. Everyone's looking for that next new great. Let me hit the lottery. I have a client who plays lottery thinking that that's her next thing. And she's doing it as a hustle. Like she will buy 70 of the same ticket.
Oh, that's a whole
70. Yeah,
we'll
that's
have
a
to have
whole.
We'll have to dedicate an episode to that.
Yeah. But yeah, I've seen it all, heard it all. Being in the salon industry, it's a revolving door because the new generation, they want instant. And I try to tell them that it's not instant. You have to work for what.
Are you talking about hiring stylists?
Hiring. And they love it. And we see the passion in their eyes and they love it, but they want instant gratification. And again, with any hustle, any career, anything, you have to put the work in. It just, unless you're a millionaire and you just buy whatever to make the business a go. That's the only way I can see it happening without putting the grit.
There's a whole nother tangent we can go on there, but like there's a lot of jobs that people think like, oh, I wish like if you're a gamer with a popular TikTok channel or something.
Yeah, the influencers.
Yeah, let me say that a different way. If you're an influencer, people don't realize all the work that goes into that success.
That goes into it, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're a millionaire who's able to grow that money, like it's not easy. Like the money is just going to burn. Most people who don't know how to manage money. The money's just going to start to burn and go away. It'll go away faster than it comes in.
Yeah.
And if you don't manage it properly. So all of these things are valid like types of work. I think people think that there's this daydream of like they won't have to work and they can still earn money.
Right.
And when you look at somebody else's success and say, oh, but I want to be like them. Do you really know the work that went into being like them?
Right.
Like, oh, you only see this image
right.
of what you think is them.
You can use that as a goal. You can use that as inspiration for your hustle. You can use that, you can start as a, janitor and work yourself up to something that within your realm of things that you're capable of doing.
Yeah. But anybody who is successful at any high level didn't get there through accident.
It was hard
with rare
work.
exception, maybe, right?
Yeah.
It's hard work.
It's
and certainly if you got there on accident, staying there is not accidental,
Right.
If you're a one-hit wonder with music, all right, you got your one hit, but being able to release, chart toppers year after year, a generation over generation is something that not everyone can do. It takes a lot of hard work.
Right.
And that same is true in business. You might have gotten lucky with one or two things, but to be able to stay on top and stay on top of that game and continue to thrive is not something that's accidental.
Right.
It just comes with a lot of hard work.
Hard work, yeah. Sleepless nights, hard work, thinking. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes my brain doesn't shut off when I have something in my mind. So to me, that's also a hustle where you can't shut it off and you're just thinking, am I doing what the new thing is?
Yeah, I think the key is that...
that's also a hustle. Staying up to date on what you're working on. I mean, even influencers, they started off at level 1, but are they staying with the new,
new platforms, new technology,
new everything?
Yeah. If you don't stay on top of it, that's the grind. That's the work that goes into anything.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we started this episode saying, was hustle culture a good or bad thing? Where do you land on it?
I think it's a very good thing.
I think it's nuanced. Remember what we said is like hustle culture as a term. I can see where it can be a bad thing. Hustle, work for what you want. I think that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. So that's where I stand on it.
Yeah.
Given that definition, what are you thinking about hustle culture as a term? Do you agree, or do you still think it's just being used incorrectly?
I think it's still being used incorrectly.
So you kind of hate even the invention of the term.
Yeah, it's because it might mean one thing to me and you, another to somebody else.
Yeah, I get that.
In different cultures, it might mean something else.
Yeah, totally. I get that. All right. Well, that wraps this episode. Stay tuned. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, send us all the signals. If you
Thumbs
like what
up.
you're hearing,
Yeah.
you like what you're seeing. If you want to see more of this train wreck, stay tuned.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.